Today on Our Region's Business, we are celebrating our region's entrepreneurs, and in particular, one of the winners of this year's Ernst Young Entrepreneur of the Year event, Knopp Biosciences. The company based right here in our region has developed what could be an important new treatment for Lou Gehrig's disease. Michael Bozik is president and CEO of Knopp Biosciences, and welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a great story. You're a guy who's been in and out of Pittsburgh and our region kind of your whole life, right? Professionally, personally, and whatever else, but came home to get involved with Knopp Biosciences. What attracted you to the company?
You know, there were several factors. The first factor was the opportunity to develop the drug that we're developing, dexpramipexole, which really shows a lot of promise in the treatment of Lou Gehrig's disease. My entire career has really been spent in search of medicines that make a difference in diseases where the needs are really unmet, and that was the biggest factor. And I think that the second factor was that we really had a chance to do something different here in Pittsburgh. When I left the University of Pittsburgh in 1998 to pursue a career in the pharmaceutical industry, I left Pittsburgh not because I wanted to leave Pittsburgh, but because there really was no pharmaceutical industry here. So the chance to both do what I love and do it in Pittsburgh were really factors that got me back here.
You know, I guess in Pennsylvania, a lot of the farmers in the eastern part of the state, we've been more the medical device end of the
Well, you know,
state
it's
here.
really interesting. One of the things I have said at numerous gatherings in Philadelphia is, you know, you certainly are winning the biotech race, but we do have 6 Lombardi trophies here.
Oh, we hold on to that for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, this has got to be a challenge, though, because when you think about developing new drugs and pharmaceuticals, you think about the giant companies out there, whether it's Bristol Myers Squibb or somebody else. To do it as a startup has got to be an amazing challenge.
You know, one of the good fortunes that I've had is to be trained at excellent large institutions. So, you know, spent almost 10 years at the University of Pittsburgh, was at Bristol Myers Squibb for almost 7 years, and you receive really excellent training at premier institutions like that. That said, with large institutions, there's often a fair amount of bureaucracy and inefficiency, and so if you can really take the best practices from large institutions and apply them in small, nimble environments, you know, we've been able to recruit a team that's been very efficient at what we've done, and we've had a lot of fun.
And what, you discovered this drug or found this drug that was in research somewhere, and so this company's bringing it to market?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This was the story of this drug is an extraordinary one, and the person that really deserves the single most credit is Dr. Jim Bennett from the University of Virginia, who discovered the potential for this the use of this drug in ALS. I got involved when we looked at some of his very early data that looked promising, and at that point, really what needed to be done was to develop the drug in a manner that it ultimately could be approved by the FDA, which is something that Jim didn't have the wherewithal to do at the University of Virginia.
And that takes investment and it takes time.
It really does, and one of the things that may distinguish the life sciences industries from other entrepreneurial environments is that the outcome at the end of the day is really binary. And we told our investors right from the start that, you know, we can't make the drug work or not. It either does or it doesn't. And so the best we can do is be as efficient as we can in moving the drug as expeditiously through development and determining if it works or not. That has led us, the license that we completed in 2006 allowed us to open what's called an IND a year later. A year after that, we completed phase 1, and 18 months after that, we had what we call proof of concept, some early evidence that the drug worked in ALS. And that sort of 3.5-year time frame is a time frame that really doesn't happen in big pharma, because of the interval decision making that always takes time.
Well, it's felt, I mean, I know very little about all of this, but it seemed fast from everything I've read and heard about how bringing pharmaceuticals to market works.
No, that's right. I mean, I'm sure it's not unprecedented, but it was very efficient. And we've had a lot of good fortune. We've had great investigators, and really it's the patients that and their families that deserve most of the credit, because, you know, here they are fighting a horrible, relentless, malignant, progressive disease that robs them of their ability to eat, breathe, walk, talk. And it's really their courage to participate in the clinical trials that's enabled us to get to the answer that we needed to now be in a position where we can ask the big question. At the end of what's called phase 2 or proof of concept, you take the last testing stage for the FDA, which is called phase 3. That's a study we just initiated with our partner, Biogen IDEC, in April of this year. And we will study 800 patients with ALS around the world to determine if the drug in fact works.
Wow. And if it works, if it's a success, the idea is to what? Build a pharmaceutical company here in Pittsburgh?
Yeah,
to do more of this?
Our aspirations are high. We really hope to become the Genentech of Pittsburgh. Wow. When I left the University of Pittsburgh in 2000, not 2000, it seems like 2,000 years ago, in 1998. I left because there wasn't a pharmaceutical industry here. The chance to establish an industry here is something that's really exciting for us. We're committed to it. And there's just such a wealth of great science and health science talent in the region that we're excited about the future.
Wow, really exciting. Well, congratulations getting it this far. It's a terrific story for our region. Michael Bozik, President and CEO of Knopp Biosciences. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Next up on our region's business, a company right here in our region, one of our oldest law firms that protects the intellectual property of all of our innovators. Stay with us.